You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die.
What is up, everyone? It's Saturday night, and I'm your Sorcerer Supreme. Right here on FearLess, and I'm sitting here with my etherical translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
It was funny, just as the show was starting, in the intro when I go, darkness, right? I screamed, darkness! Joe, is so funny.
So I jumped 2 feet out of my seat because I wasn't expecting that. But prior to Frank screaming, darkness, I looked down at the floors. Now, Frank will tell you.
Paula did the ayahuasca part. She went, ayahuasca.
And then I'm looking down at my floors, and Frank sweeps these floors.
Oh, religiously.
2 or 3 times a day. And I just look down, and it looks like we raised billy goats.
We just let them in and out.
And chickens, and we just let them in and out. And I don't understand. We're 2 adults.
My one Roomba. I mean, the
yeah,
Roomba.
Baby Roomba.
Roomba baby was in the, and yes, I have a little AI Roomba baby. I put him in the bedroom and closed the door, and he was in there so long and so full that it drained the entire battery. It was on for like 45 minutes in this one room. And I was like, I can't believe it. All right, before we start, before we go any further, shout outs to Chris and Cherie Gio. We love you guys so much. Thank you. So grateful that you guys got us to get up, grow a pair, and get on board and grow the family. Every time I think I'm 10 steps ahead, Chris has always been like 2 steps ahead of that. So he's like, it's all part of the plan, bro. And I'm like, and the funny part is that I know, because he told me, and we discussed this in full details in the very beginning, all of this. And then not the fearless stuff, but what would occur, like other stuff. He's like, yeah, you got to tell your story, man. Yeah. He's been doing that since day one. We got to get you up in here. We got to do this and do that. But it was with everything, and it turned into the push. Then Paula and I experienced it together with Fearless before it was Fearless.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I was like, well, I saw all this back in the beginning. It was like one of the first things we were shown. Shout outs to everybody in the chat room. And for everybody that's listening right now or later on iHeartRadio and right on the site itself or however you're tuning in, if you like any of the shows, and I mean any of us, right? You like more than 2, get a subscription. Definitely get a subscription. You could listen to all the past episodes. Yeah, because
you can listen to all the past episodes. You can listen to all the other hosts, and the subscriptions go to run the station, to actually run the station. So you're helping the station, and you're
keeping everything alive.
Yeah, you're keeping the lights on, basically.
And it's not expensive, and it's beautiful, and it's something I think you should do if you're into it. Don't forget to check it out, TFR Live. And all right, last one. wearefearless.com. Go there and check it out. That's our community hub where all the fearless artists come together and put together their designs, put them on T-shirts, towels, tank
Cups,
tops,
anything. Yeah.
We have everything
Yeah,
on there, and it's expanding every day.
The T-shirts are so comfortable. I have 3 T-shirts, and I feel like those are the only 3 T-shirts I wear, and I want to buy more, but then my wardrobe is just going to consist
Just
of
be
Fearless T-shirts.
It was funny. My mother was here, and she saw you with the shirt on, and she just looks at me and goes, "You know, my Fearless shirt's so soft." And I just started laughing at her face, and she's like, "What are you laughing for?" And I'm like, "No, they are kind of soft." And you came out, and then she goes, "Oh, I have the Fearless shirt too."
Yeah.
And we said that you were wearing it, and I was already making the joke.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yous were dead serious. You was like, "No, this is soft," and I was laughing because when I put mine on, I didn't want to take it off. I had it on for like 12 hours straight.
I wore those T-shirts. I was away with I know, and God, I'm not going to talk about this vacation anymore. But I was away with my family a couple of weeks ago, and it was a beach vacation. I wore those T-shirts the whole week. Like I packed a whole suitcase full of things, and I wore those T-shirts. And I want to get another one. Like I said, I really do. But then my wardrobe is going to consist of just Fearless T-shirts, which there's nothing wrong with that. But
ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know, I mean, they're so comfortable. And it's funny because a lot of our Fearless friends and family say the same thing on Facebook, how comfortable the T-shirts are.
Absolutely. So go there, check it out, check out the designs. If you like anything you see, the artist gets 50% of the price of the item. And bombs are still going off in the Bronx.
Oh, it's 4th of July until August in the Bronx.
I wonder if they could hear that because it's shaking the house.
It was so bad on the 4th of July.
This has got to be the only place you can hear they're lighting off mats and bombs up the street, and then Mr. Softy.
Yeah, it sounds like we're being invaded, and then you hear the Mr. Softy truck.
And then you're like, "Oh, everything's all right."
All right.
That's so funny. So yeah, don't forget to check out IamWeAreFearless.com, and shout outs to all the Fearless family and the Fearless group.
And I just want to say one more thing.
Go ahead. You can say as much as you want.
Because our Fearless family, we love you.
And it grows.
We really do love you, and it's growing, and we know this. And all the people that participate in the meditations and
we're not going to stop talking about this meditations or the group because it's growing exponentially.
Our Fearless group, I mean,
and it's beautiful.
These meditations have helped collectively so many people that it's beginning to really wow everyone in the group. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna prove a point when people talk about meditations, right? We got a bunch of people that don't do any psychedelics, never tried, never will.
Right.
In the group, wondering, well, how am I going to see like you see? And I'm like, do the meditation. Don't worry about being like me. Boom. Like 3-4 weeks in,
yeah.
Kali was standing right next to me and teaching me how to do stuff. And I'm like, oh, so you saw Kali, huh? Yeah. And then it's turned into conversations. People are remembering their dreams hardcore. And it's part of tonight's episode, too.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about the
dreams are starting to cross over. People are having the same dreams where they're meeting up somewhere.
We'll talk about that. But I just wanted to say there was a comment made in the one of our Fearless family, something about size small clothes. So if anyone remembers that post or knows who posted that on Facebook.
Was it for a donation for clothes?
I saw size small clothes, and I when you're off Facebook and then you try to find a previous post, you can't do it.
Right.
But there was I know it's one of our family members. So if anyone knows who posted that, can you just give me the person's name so I can contact them?
Are you going through another purge?
Well, a baby purge because I'm still a size small. I mean, I did get heavier, but I had to take this right before I left Pepsi. I had to take this fitness. It was like a fitness health evaluation, and they give me this pamphlet, and they tell me that I am grossly obese. And I'm a size 4, so I know.
Choked on my coffee.
No, but I know I'm a little chunky, but I'm still a size 4, so I guess I'm a grossly obese size 4. But I do have a lot of size small. I wear size small. So if anyone remembers who that person was, please let me know, and I'm not going to spend any more time on this. I'm sorry.
There's been this huge burst of weird generosity. Right, that's circling
all of our friends. Absolutely,
it's happening outside of our circle as well. Or it's not just us; it's just that we're seeing it from just our perspective. But I know it's happening more because people are being nicer. The people that I'm meeting and going outside and seeing all the time. There's this weird thing occurring where somebody says, hey, pray for me or something. And then dozens of people out of nowhere are like, not just throwing down positive vibes and support. I mean, full support.
Yeah.
Do you need me to call you right now? I'll be on the phone with you in 2 seconds. Do you need a plane ticket? Do you need to get out of there?
Money? Do you need this? Do you need
Why
that?
is this person hitting up your person on Facebook, wondering where you are when you're not home? And I'm going, oh my God, I love these people. And it goes back to, it takes a tribe to raise a child, right? And we're tribing it up, right? Like we're becoming that. And a lot of us still have a lot to learn. So we're raising each other, the ones that are, all right, how many parents are in the group, right? And then how many of us were like parentless to a degree? Like I didn't have much of a dad. So when I huddle up with the guys, I'm learning all these different man things that I've never had the opportunity to learn or would even want to learn. It just wasn't cool up until this point. Exactly, buddy. Exactly. This is, all right, who's getting closer with the animals? These are questions I'm throwing out there because weird stuff has been happening. Are you growing closer to the animals? Paul has this ridiculous connection. Ridiculous, where Buddy has come to me and become my cat. Like literally. Sherman has completely opened up. He runs around and he always has the grump face, right? But it's not just the cat opening up. I'm talking about Paul is in the front yard throwing crab apples and he's playing fetch.
With crab apples.
And then he lies on his back expecting you to go over there, and then he attacks your hand for a minute or two where it looks like he's going to destroy you, and he hasn't even
no nails.
No nails. And the teeth are biting and they don't hurt. And he just wants you to keep doing it. And I'm going, is everyone changing?
Yeah.
Oscar's coming up to me.
Oh, yes, Oscar's being much nicer to you.
And I use these examples, and I talk about it on the show, and I know people want to just hear about the ayahuasca and the beings sometimes. And I'm like, it's not all about that. It's, are you noticing the changes?
But it's everyday life. We need to live day to day. We need to get through each day. And if we can't do that, then the next day is a horror for us. So these are small things that we're noticing happening on a day-to-day level.
Yeah, like last year it was...
it sounds silly to talk about, but it's very important because it's those little things that get you through the day.
Absolutely.
And then the day gets you through the week.
Yes, absolutely. I used to always... You talked about this the other day. Monday blues or Sunday night?
Oh, Sunday evening blues. Yeah, I remember being so sad on Sunday evenings because I had work. And a former friend and coworker had contacted me a couple of Sunday nights ago about what was going on at my old job. And I said, oh, he must have the Sunday night blues because he's trying to fight Monday morning. And it's happening. It's going to happen.
But what we're trying to do is remove that from our gnosis now, right? Like we don't want a Monday morning blues. Like, all right, look,
for us it's different because
I know, but we're in
yeah.
Everyone's position is in the position that they need to be in to figure out whatever it is they need to figure out.
Right.
But if you're always looking to the future with a stressful moment, like I did with jury duty, like I think I lost hair on my head from jury duty.
Yes, if you continue. Yes.
So I got there.
Yeah, we were just talking about this before.
I slam dunked that place and they sent me home.
That was amazing because in the beginning you had said the first text was that you sent me when you first got there was I might be here for 30 days.
Yeah, because they picked me. It's number 11.
Oh my goodness! I was like, oh my goodness, he's gonna have a heart attack, and I don't know what's gonna happen.
And it was a serious case too.
But that went so smoothly for you. But that's what's been going on. It's like if you just ride the wave, and you accept and come from a place of hope, and ask for the best possible outcome, because we may think we know what the best outcome is, but we don't. We have to put that in the hands of the universe. I'm going to tell
you, no matter how smart you think you are, people told you
what
you took on
no
tests,
idea.
you have no clue.
You have no idea. So you just give it to the universe and say, I need the best possible outcome.
I was shown
here.
over and over, and I don't have a clue. And I've looked at it over and over, and I'm going, that's just...
but look at all of our friends in the TFR room, in the
everyone's growing,
people
even through the growing
going
pains.
For jobs and getting jobs and, good things and bad things, and bad things aren't so bad after, they reevaluated them. you know,
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
there's
Reevaluation of your situation so it doesn't reoccur, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get it. That's why that's
Exactly.
been happening in a loop for the last 40 years of my
right.
friggin'
I
life.
need to break this now.
And then you see it, and then when you recognize it and understand it, it breaks. That's
but
when it
everyone
breaks.
comes together. It's feeling very much like a community. Everyone is coming together.
And isn't that what everyone asks for? Isn't that your internal desire, except for you hermits that I know, there's empaths that are like, no, I'd rather be alone. Deep down inside, we all want to hang out and have a shared community of some kind. We make jokes. We're like, oh, they'll round us up if they put us in a compound like that, if we
Right.
went up in the mountains. But Shaman Jimmy was making a point. He's like, dude, we're going to be so enlightened at one point, and this is not humorously speaking. It's like lit up for real, lighted, right? Not just enlightened, like having the brightness that you're not going to be in circulation in the crowds because you'll be giving the crowds fainting, goat fainting syndrome.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because people will just run up on you because they're attracted to that.
to the light.
And then
to
when they
the-
get
yes.
there, an ayahuasca purge is going to occur. So they're going to have to put us off to the side. So if this is all headed to those communities that you speak of that you wish you were a part of. We're building them.
But what we have right now is a virtual community, and that's all we can do right now. And
Yes, but this is where it begins.
it is where it begins.
Because now we're already 10 steps into that process.
But for having a virtual community, I mean, I do see a lot of love and a lot of hope going back and
I
forth.
didn't even think this community would work. When I literally built
I
the
know,
group
so strange.
for a few months, I
So
didn't touch it
strange.
because
Yeah, we didn't do anything with it.
I didn't know what to do and I didn't know what to say, and then just it kept coming through. Just meditate. People
and there's
want
very
meditation.
little negativity that goes on.
Oh, we don't really allow it.
Yeah,
You're allowed to
there's very
say what
little
you got to say
negativity.
too.
Yeah.
I don't mean it like we don't allow it, but I mean like if you start posting truth or stuff and people are killing the dogs and I'm like, yo, listen, save that stuff for the other rooms. You got to come in here positive.
Right. Ask
But-
for what you want, get it, move on.
But you could be open and honest and you could say the negative
Yeah,
thing,
and
but
then-
you
and then
can't
give
sit
when
in the
you can.
victimization though.
no,
That's the problem.
That's not allowed.
Oh, well, we build leaders. So we're like, look, it sucks. I'm sending you love. What do you need help with, though? Do you need help with this? I couldn't find help. And Sly Shaman, we'll call him, right? He does construction.
Yeah.
So
Andrew Sly.
Yeah, he
he's
starts
the best.
telling me, yo, what are you doing?
What do you
so I
need
take
help with?
pictures
Yeah.
of it, and I explain what I'm about to do, and then he just gave me a few pointers that my father couldn't sit still long enough to give me the 2 seconds of pointers I would have needed growing up to do something like this.
Yeah, and this guy lives in the UK.
Yeah.
So this guy,
And he's like,
so
wow, this is awesome.
This is, and you all know him, Andrew Sly. He's amazing. This guy does not know me from anywhere, or did not know me from anywhere. Messages me, asks me how I'm doing, sends me love, sends me pictures of his beautiful family, his children, his wife. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And this man from the UK talked Frank through a project,
A massive project.
through texting pictures.
Yeah. And just being on Facebook and keeping a positive attitude.
Keeping
Like,
a
hey, buddy,
positive
if you're not
attitude.
feeling it, maybe you should walk away from it for a minute. And it's like, no, I know. Don't forget, measure twice, drill once, right? And like little stupid things. And I'm going, oh, yeah, boom. And it was done. And then I go, oh, now what does this have to do with ayahuasca, DMT, leveling up and everything? Everything.
Fear.
You're a creator. You have two hands, right?
Fear, because for you, it was very fear-based. You
Oh,
came
all
from a place
fear-based.
of fear whenever you had to pick up a hammer. And now that fear has been removed. I mean, basically, you can tackle anything now. And I know that. I always knew you could do it. You didn't know you could do it. But now you know you can do it. And no one can take that feeling away from you. No one can take that feeling away from you now. Because you
Nothing
come from
could
a place
take that
of
away.
hope instead of a place
And now
of
I
fear.
could work through not only that, anything. I feel just about anything that a man could have to walk through. Like you start to go, wait a second, if I can do one thing, if I could change a light bulb, I could change a car tire, right? Then if I change the car tire, I can do the light
move
switch.
to the next thing.
Then I
Yeah,
could fix the
absolutely.
toilet if it's stuck, and I could change the sheets if my wife's not there. I can make the coffee in the morning. Like all of a sudden you all know people that don't do any of this stuff, right? And your routine changes, your mental changes, and you're like, dude, I could accomplish anything. And it all started with
Being,
waking up and going, you know what? I'm just going to
I'm
going to fold the sheets on the bed.
I'm going to try it.
That's it. Boom, done.
I'm going to try.
Oh, look how nice that looked. You had
that's all you
perfect,
can do.
It looks nice when people come over. Boom. I swept, did my thing. You are getting so close to your higher self doing stuff like that. Because for people who I can't meditate, I can't sit still, then don't sit still. Don't sit still. Do the cleaning in the house. Hum to yourself. Do little things like that where you take the little bit of a break and yet you're cleaning or doing something and you're in that moment. They used to say Michael Jordan when he's or sports players, when they're in the zone, you'll hit the zone doing dishes. I do it all the time. 5 minutes into doing the dishes, I'm in a full DMT trip, having a conversation with my higher self, and I'm cleaning, and they're going, how does it make you feel now that, and by the time I'm done, I got a whole rack of clean stuff, and I look over and I'm going, I figured out what I want to do for the song I'm going to do, what the topics of the show are going to be, maybe what I want to eat for dinner. All these little stupid things get figured out, done, and now everything's clean.
And they're not major issues.
Nothing, but
nothing's a major issue.
All right, 4 years ago, Paul, or 3 years ago, Paul will tell you that everything was a major issue with me. Everything. Can you change coffee? Can you make coffee? You got to press a button, right? You going to put a nail in the wall? You going to put a nail in the wall? Are you going to help me with this and just not make it look sloppy or something? I don't even know. And then now is a complete different story. We're
totally
all leaders. This is what I'm getting at. You build a leader by taking one step, 10%, right? You want to eat organic, but you don't want to give up certain things. So what you start doing is you start changing out items
slowly,
one at a time. Change out the peanut butter and jelly.
But that's life. You can't just make drastic changes because they don't work. Okay? You can't just say, okay, I'm going to throw all the food away and start a new diet. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to ease into things. So ease into your life. We're going to be in these bodies for a very long time. You're going to have to find a way to deal with it.
Right. And when you're breaking old crappy habits,
you're breaking.
And
it's all the programming.
Right, it's all programming.
So
you'll notice it while you're fixing your house and cleaning stuff.
But that can't happen overnight. You have to give yourself the benefit
you'll short out
of time and making those subtle changes, because we are ascending, we are leveling up, we are raising our vibration.
You're not going to.
Yes, exactly, and it takes time.
You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be the enlightened one. It doesn't work that way. I've been on this path, and I'm really far ahead. Jimmy's really far ahead, and we're not anything. We're still drip.
But that doesn't mean anything, because Frank and I are on the same path.
It just drip every day.
Yeah, and we don't.
A year later, it's completely different.
It is
completely.
And there are a lot of things that you and I don't agree on, but we're on the same path, so it's fine.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things we do is by having the other side of the coin sitting right next to you, you learn to. I respect Paula, so when she talks to me, I go, well, I don't really have, I have the femme side, but if I'm decorating a room, I really don't know what I'm doing, right? So, Paula, what do you think? Because I'll start hanging Bon Jovi posters or something.
No, you won't. You did a great job.
No, well, I'm saying I learned to do this with you.
Oh, I know.
So we wouldn't have agreed, but then come together to create something beautiful, right? And it's wonderful to have both parts of that, and you should respect that in a relationship. You should give up the reins, holding the control and holding on so friggin' tight. If that's not 3 inches from the plate, you're not doing it right. Hey, shut up.
But that's it. It's control.
Just relax yourself.
When you give up that control.
How are you going to submit to anything and you want to drink ayahuasca?
Stop trying to control everything in your life. Things become a lot easier. We use an expression, pick and choose your battles. You really want to argue with me over socks? Or do you want to move on and let's get serious now? Pick and choose those battles. If you think you have to have the fight or the argument, or you think you have to make the point, then make it and move on. If you're going to be angry or hostile towards someone, be angry and then get over it. The point is, you're not supposed to live in that space for a very long time. It's not healthy. Frank and I try to live in a very light space. And if one of us is not feeling that way, we get out of this. We remove ourselves from the space. When Frank wakes up in a bad mood, I remove myself from the space, because I am not going to allow his bad mood to ruin how I feel.
Or carry that frequency over.
Because that's what ends up happening. You set yourself up. You set your day up according to how you feel. So if you do something, if you have a series of events in the morning that make you late for work, And then now you're racing, so you get a speeding ticket, and then you can't get your coffee because you're late, and then you have a meeting, and there's no time to go to the ladies' room. You know, you've already set your day up for failure, so you have to remove yourself from that space, and you have to say, just give me 2 seconds, let me change the way I'm thinking about this, and then move on. You know, we are not perfect people. We never will be.
It's not even about being perfect.
You know,
there's no really right way to do this. It's
have to
morally
figure-
correct. You're
yeah.
on point.
We have to figure out how to get through each day. You know, there are things that, you know, I say it a lot. I don't do things I don't want to do. But that's not 100% true, because we all have to do things that we don't want to do. You know, because we have to, because it's life, and we need to make money, and we need to.
And you need to go to the DMV
we need to
and
do what
get
we
your
have to do.
license. And
So, you know, if you're gonna, if you have to do it, come from a place of hope, because if you come from a place of fear or a place of anger, you've already set the tone. You know, like
Jamaican Nick was just screaming that, and I use that so we know it's not this other. It's not Nicholas
Oh, he actually
Zervos
calls
or this
himself
other
that.
guy Nick is that we don't want to talk about, but. Jamaican Nick was outside and he had his hands open, yelling at his cousin, and he's like, you don't understand. You can come from a place of I'm so scared, or you know what, we could just get this done and it's not that big of a deal. And I go, oh my God, because he's from Jamaica, so I was staring at him. I'm like, do you ever drink ayahuasca? And he's like, nope. He's like, I'm healthy, I cleanse. He goes, I listen to you and the show and everything. And I go, I can't believe what you just said. Like, that was incredible. You said it in your version so this kid would understand.
But that's basically
It's never just it. We'll be right back after this commercial break with more protection from deception. I'm becoming fearless.
you're becoming crazy.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I weak or is this a dream? It's a dream. It's a dream. A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
I love this song so much. I'm gonna scream into the microphone, but this is not the place. If you like any of the music you hear, check out Heist Click, HEISTCLICK. Lots of great tunes. Since 1998, we've been pumping them out. A lot of great things. It's funny. I go over this with Jimmy sometimes. The first album I did was called Superpowers. The second was called Invincible. The third was called Unleashed.
Salty.
And the fourth was The Conspiracy. And it seems to be playing out everything from those albums, which is really wild. They're relevant now, which is timeless music, which is pretty interesting with a bunch of just guys, a group of dudes from the Bronx doing stuff and pushing their way through the music industry. And Mr. Softy, I think, is right outside. Oh,
and
my.
he's never outside. And the funny thing is, I can't even eat it because it makes me poop. But I just love
I
Mr.
wouldn't.
Sophie. But
When I was a
he's
kid.
never right outside. He's always off in the distance. This is horrible.
She heard
He's
it one
gone
night.
now.
She's like, could you go out and get it? If you love me, you'll go check. And I'm like, no, he's long gone. Because you could hear it up the block. And I'm like, I'm not running after that guy anymore.
was a
I did
telephone
that when I
number
was 12.
Website or the truck.
Here, watch. Look, you ready? Make an app where you can tell the local softy guy when you're on the app that you're out there and you want him to come by.
And you're waving your $5.
So he'll just keep the route going until it gets to you. I love this right here. We don't need men to be gentlemen. We need men to do peyote and face their deep cores of emptiness, then return to the village humbled. I love that, because that'll create everything else. More and more, this is what you see. Magic mushrooms can literally reset brains of depressed people, studies find. Shrooms are the safest drug you can take. I mean, just on and on and on.
Well, they have those cleanses. Didn't you show me that last week?
Well, that's actual mushrooms.
Yeah, but
and
they say
vitamins.
They say that the mushroom itself, the plant, the mushroom, is the most used. It's the most used for medical reasons.
Yeah, well, there's one that if you're in high altitude and you eat it, you can handle a high altitude. It's non-psychedelic. I mean, you're just chewing on it as you're going up the mountain, and all of a sudden your blood's filled with more oxygen.
Like mushroom extract is very good for your digestive system.
I was told under mushrooms
What were you told, Frank?
that we are more closely related to the actual mushroom than ayahuasca. They were like, look, and they showed me it branching out and doing all these cool things. And it looked like we were cookie cutters of humans, like cut out of their mycelium and just put into a human body. Yeah, like our nervous system looks exactly like all those things that branch out.
That's what that is.
You know, when it's growing and it's up, when you look at something up close, you can see that web.
Yes.
That looks like the nervous
That's
system.
under the cap, right? That you mean that part?
Yeah, Paula, it's under the cap.
I'm just asking.
Oh, I love you. You're the best.
Yeah.
But so we're more closely related. And when I was watching what was going on, I'm like, oh wow, we are. And then that branched off to like universal stuff. Like, and I was like, do you have this on other planets and space? And they're like, oh yeah, check it out. And boom, it was just other civilizations. It was like a giant web of connectivity. And then when it jumped from the planet or to another place, it was just like a Wi-Fi signal. It's like calling to your buddy. Or like me using telepathy with Paula. It's just a different scale, right? As above, so below. Right? If you and I were having telepathy, or the planet Mars.
We had telepathy when you were annoyed at me. You would give. I was reading your mind that you were annoyed sometimes.
No, we definitely do. Okay, so here's another question then. You pose this question. Have you been experiencing more synchronistic telepathy with people, more understanding? So it's not maybe necessarily telepathy, but more empathy. So you could finish each other's sentences, but at the same time, you get the feeling upon you where you get it. You don't even have to finish talking. I already understand it fully inside my body. And then we're laughing about it before the end of the statement.
Because my sister and I had an episode of that. We were with the family. Oh, when I went to we went to see my family for her birthday last week, and this might have been last week or it might have been another time. Someone had asked a question and we were both answering using the same exact words, and they were like, "Did you rehearse this?" And then we just looked at each other. We were like, "No." But we were saying the same exact words.
Well, we'll watch TV together, and I'm looking at something, and I'll be thinking of like, hey, did you notice the wig on this person, or something weird? And then a moment later, you're saying exactly that. You're yelling it at the TV like, hey, did you notice that? And I'm going, I was just thinking that. But, you know, people go, well, that's coincidence. That's not coincidence, guys. We're picking it up. Speaking about people that are picking it up, I wanted to do this at the beginning of the show, but we just kind of rambled into it. I promote people that I know are real. You guys all know this about me. I don't just promote a friend to promote a friend if they're not on point. Right? So I had another reading done. Dun-dun-dun. I know. Well, hold on. They don't want me sharing too much. Right? But, okay, so her name is Dana Michigan, or Dana Mystic, right? However you want to call her.
Oh, yeah, I had a reading with her.
Oh, you did? Okay, wait, I got to see this right here. This is dynamic, Dana Mystic at blogspot.com, right? So Dana Mystic, DANAMYSTIC.blogspot.com, right? Get a reading from her. She's awesome. She locked into me really quick. She's very friendly. She's kind of like me, right? She has the gift of gab, right? But with her reading, it works. It comes out. It brings it out.
Oh, that's how I felt when I talked with her. I
You
felt
had
the same
you had
way.
a good reading. You actually did. You were talking about it. So one of the things we were discussing on the reading, whatever it takes to get you on this path, but now have an understanding of why the path is difficult and why you need balance. Balance, once again, balance is key during this time, right? You are both dark and light. You are all of everything.
But that's what I think I mean when I say pick and choose your battles, because you can't obtain balance if you're trying to control everything. It doesn't work that way.
Or if you go too light, if you're walking around in a robe and, oh, bless you, my brother, and that you're not doing it right. Like they were showing me, you're the light. Yeah, you're the light. Respect yourself, and you're the light. Sometimes you're going to have to, smack something, perhaps. Like, protect something and be that other thing that you're like, well, I don't want to be like that. It's like, but you are that. And when that's necessary, you'll do that. If somebody came over and threw you on the floor and was robbing your girlfriend, you're just going to go, well, love and light to you, brother. You're like, no. Well,
Yeah,
right. So
do
if
what
you get
needs to
up
be
and have
done.
to throw a beat down on somebody or chase them down or call the police and freak out or do whatever it is, you got to run into a house that's burning and save a baby, whatever it is. Right? Balance.
This just happened to me. Literally yesterday. It was yesterday. Yes, yesterday. So I was telling Frank, I was thinking about getting a fish and looking for fish bowls and thinking about a fish, because I always had a fish and I always named him Fred. And I had a couple of betas and they lived very long lives with me. And I was thinking about getting a fish, and then I said, wait a minute, let me stop, because now I have like 13 things in my Amazon cart for a fish that's like the size of a teaspoon, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And then I said to Frank, I need something to love. And
That's how much she is pouring out of her, just by the way.
Yeah, something new, like a new little baby to love. So I said, do I really want a fish? Do I have to worry about not Roxy and Oscar, the other two dummies we have running around. I'm worried if they eat him, and then
That's just being on death
and then
row
I just
right there.
walked away from the computer and I sat down, and then Frank says, literally 10 minutes later, hurry up, you have to come out here and see this. And we feed a stray cat, and we call her Sweet Face Murderer, and because she murders all the birds and the mice.
She kills everything with her face.
And she's a little tiny thing. When she first came, she looked emaciated, so she brought her kitten. So I was like, oh my goodness, the universe gave me something to love now, because now it's my mission to make this kitten fat.
I went outside. The kitten was on the steps just looking at me, and I'm like, oh, there's kittens. Oh.
Yeah. So she brought her kitten, and so, the universe did give me something.
But balance with all this is key. This is the point.
Oh, yeah, this is the point you were trying to make. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I just took
okay.
it away from you.
It's okay. Just make it all about you.
Oh, yeah, Frank.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Rock star. The point was what she was seeing keys being jingled every time we hit certain notes and stuff. And it's like, whatever it takes to get you here. Is it the ayahuasca? Is it the DMT?
Yeah.
Is it the meditation?
Yoga and meditation?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Hey man, I'm just smoking a joint and in my room playing a video game. Whatever works.
Right.
Whatever happens. Right. But it's to get you here. Now you're here. But now, so you know what it's like. And this is funny because Ra keeps coming up over and over. Every time I pop up, Ra's there. So I'm like, yo, this is pretty awesome. But the explanation was, it's like using a magnifying glass to shine the light directly into like your head, like into your third eye, let's say. Right now, imagine how precision like that has to be to keep you going at the proper frequency. And I'm like, well, that's pretty difficult, man. Like I couldn't even knock the guy down if I was using a basketball, throwing it to knock him into the water. I'd need like 5 or 6 throws with a basketball. So I'm just like, come on. And they're like, this is what you need to do. You need balance. So they show you through others, because people will go, well, you're Frank and you see everything and what am I going to tell you? And there's this mystification of me. And I'm like, no, check it out. I'm regular. I'm a meathead. And yeah, I can see. But even when you can see, you don't see the stuff right in front of your face.
No.
You know, right? It's in every detail of everything.
Yeah.
So you spark instant gnosis.
Oh, what a tease he is now.
Now he's right outside.
Coming back.
He's swinging around. He knows what we're talking about.
Damn you, Mr.
So
Phillips.
I got the cue, and it always feels good. Frank does have the sight. He can see. And that always makes me feel good when I have the energies and the consciousnesses back me and say stuff through other people.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's the best.
It's a
because
validation.
when someone's like, hey, where do you get your info from? I'm like, yo, I was at Raw and he showed me. And they're like, yeah, right. And I'm like, well, you choose to believe it or not. But the
Yeah, it
fact
doesn't
is, I'm
matter.
standing here talking about it with that purpose behind me of having knowledge of the situation better than most.
But that's what we talk about too. Your voice has to be more important to you than someone else's voice.
Well, I know what my
What you-
purpose is. My purpose
Yes.
is now driving me.
But that's the point.
It used to be a
right?
rapper, but it wasn't to rap. It was to unlock and do this.
But think about
The
how many
shamanistic
people
work.
let other people talk them out of things
Oh, yeah.
or into things, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're worried about the voice out there. The only voice you should really be concerned with is the voice in your head. How you feel about something.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what I feel about it.
And you shouldn't worry about what other people think. You know what? Don't share with those people then. If you think that people are going to judge you, first of all, you shouldn't be thinking that. And if you let them judge you if they're going to do it, and then you just look over at them, understand what's going on, you'll see their level. If they're judging you, if somebody's being that like that with you, you'll see it. You don't have to defend your ground. The truth doesn't need to be defended, right? You're standing there. You're grounded. You're watching it occur, and you're like, wow, if I say something back and give into this experience, I'm going to add to it, and it's going to drama out, and it's going to turn into something that nobody really wants, and it's going to get crazy. But instead, I'm going to do this. I'm going to recognize it for what it is. I'm going to step out of it and go, okay, I don't really like that too much, so we're going to not have this occur. So what does it take for this not to occur? Or what does it take for this other stuff to occur? My friend, my buddy, Will was saying, during one of the meditations or something, he described what I thought was Syrian beings, which I just saw. But it could be, it couldn't be. I don't know. I'm just attaching to it his situation and seeing it. And I'm like, did you meditate on them? Because most of the time when we meet those kind of beings, what he explained to me, I was like, that's usually your fam. It's usually your boys, your guardians, your this. And he was like, wow. And I'm like, do it. You want the gnosis? Go get it, because it's you. In the end, it's all about you, right? And you don't need to be selfish about it, but you can be selfish about it a little. You can take the time for you. That's so important. All right, so balance is key. So Dana Michigan, or Dana Mystic, you can find her on Facebook. It's danamystic.blogspot.com. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. If you want a reading, remember, when you get a reading, you open up to the experience. You allow the person that you're working with or who you're going to, and vice versa. You open so you can flow in. You got to let them in. If you're going, yeah, let's see what you're going to find out, you're not getting anything out of the experience. I don't care. It doesn't matter how super the other person's superpower is. They're usually just going to look at you like you're crazy, because they could feel the resistance. They'll feel it as they're working with you. So no resistance. Lighten up. Special shout outs too. Got a bunch of new people that are become their own shaman. Our success rate, what would you say? 100%? Except for my cousin Michelle, who's
Well, with
becoming her own shaman in Aya.
Becoming
Yeah.
your own shaman. Yeah, 90%.
I got a 99.99%. She only counts as that little offshoot because she took a sip, threw it on the floor, and started screaming bloody murder. And I'm like, but nothing happened yet. She's like, oh, this is insane. I've never seen anything like it. It looked like a child losing itself in like the toy store, and you're dragging him out going, no, you can't have a toy. He's just leaving. And the kid's flipping and crying and screaming. I've never seen an adult actually do that in my presence. And then when I talk to her now, which is very rare and in between, because she has the sight, and she thinks she's a nutty Guidette, and she's not. She is, but it's like me being a rapper and
She
not
doesn't have
realizing
to
the
be,
spirituality. She just falls back into that hole, and I'm like, yo, the sight comes from this part of my family. Like, your sons don't have it, you have it. Your mother has it. It's skipped over. Great grandma has it. We're first cousins. Come on, man. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. So it's not really going to help everybody when you think about it on that level. But balance is definitely key. Ha. Something else I wanted to just bring up, because we only got 8 minutes left. I want to talk to you about synthetics and products. How do you feel about synthetics and products now that you know everything that you know about you and products in general?
I like a product that works, so I'm willing to forego. I just got lost for a minute.
Okay, synthetic and product, right? So
like what? Using an organic alternative to like Tide?
no,
You know,
all right. So how do you think synthetics? Anything that's synthetic. Synthetic is anything that is man-made, produced in a vat or a lab or wherever on a line that is added to stuff. Because
that you eat or that you use.
it could be
around
anything.
the house. I think it's necessary in order. I mean, you know,
It's almost impossible to avoid.
It's almost impossible to avoid, and I'm party to it because I don't want to spend twice as long doing something that takes half the time. I open a window, and whether that's right or wrong, I don't.
All right, let's do this. We changed our deodorant.
Yeah, but then I went back.
You did?
I did.
You don't use the coconut?
The almond one?
The almond?
I do use it, but like if I'm going out and I'm going to be with a lot of people, I get afraid. So I use the
Why do you get afraid? I use it all the time.
I know.
I go 2 days sometimes when I'm
but you
caught
smell,
up.
You smell wonderful.
What do you think helps that? The all natural. All right, so I stepped away from aluminum in the products.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things under ayahuasca I was shown is it's very difficult. It's pretty much in everything, including chemtrails. I was purging, throwing up, and everything else. There were nanobots in my purge, and I saw them plucking them out of my aura. So they were floating in the atmosphere, right? And I said, what are those insects? Why do these insects keep showing up? And they're like, no, look. And I'm like, they look like they're metal. And it's almost like as if you look under a microscope and it just, you know, when you're out of your body, you can do that. You can look right up on it.
Well, they said they're smaller than the head of a pin.
It's tiny, so tiny. Now, they're in the clothes that you wear, right? They're in the products you use for everything. It was in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton when he figures out that the Joker toxin's not in one product when they're trying to figure it out. You had to use the lipstick with the deodorant and brush your teeth with the product for it to work on you. And then it just took time. It was the right combination that your body needed. And then, boom, you were sick. So this is what's going on with the product. So when I mean everything, right? Your electronics spy on you. The food you eat's poisoned. The water you drink's poisoned. The air you breathe is poisoned. You smoke cigarettes. Maybe you don't. Maybe there's other things. You live near a highway and you're breathing and all that stuff. You have to become proactive to your situation, but you also have to know that cleansing is very important. So I drink ayahuasca for the cleanse. So when I have my experiences, that's when I have my purges. I try to ground myself, let the earth pull some of this out of me. I try to put products in my body for the best way I can in the situations that I'm in, right? I know the organics as an ex-inspector. Everyone's like, yo, organics. I'm like, they still spray your food. They spray them. Trust me, I'm there. I was in the fields. I know what they're doing. I know how you're getting sick when you eat a head of lettuce and then you're in the hospital dying. Because field workers are pooping in the field, and they're just walking around, wiping and moving, and they're not allowed to stop. And then it gets all over everything, and they're not cleaning your food. So it's so hard. For the people that want to have that experience, you can have that experience and see it for yourself. You don't have to believe me. right? But do your best because it's in everything. I actually pay a bigger price now for things because I want it to work the first time. I don't buy the junk rip-off pieces anymore, and I only get what I need and the amount I need, and I just rock and roll.
It's an age thing, though, because now what we've noticed over the last couple of years, there've been some major changes.
Every month we're changing for like a higher standard, a new direction, and we're realizing even the nonsense that we do.
I know. But you have to make small changes in your life. You know, you have to make changes, but you can't make them all at once because otherwise it doesn't work. You know, now we don't eat fast food anymore at all.
You want synthetics in your products?
Yeah.
Eat at McDonald's.
Frank and I were fantasizing one day separately about McDonald's. And I said to him at the end of the night, I said, I have to be honest with you and tell you something. So he goes, yeah, what do you want to tell me? So I said, I was thinking about having McDonald's all day today. So he said, you're not going to believe it. So was I, but I didn't want to tell you. And we talked it out, and we never went for fast food. You know, it's like...
No, then she said, we should get McDonald's tonight, and I screamed, no! I went in the kitchen. I was like, no. When I'm never giving into that again.
You know,
that's like me having a cigarette. Like, I can't give into it. You know why? This is how they implemented this in me. This is how I finally quit. They said, hey, man, how you doing with quitting cigarettes? Oh, I'm having a hard time, but I kept seeing Superman's face, like, looking up into the sky. And then people looking at him like, yo, do something. And he would smile and then take off. And I'm like, yeah, man, Superman don't smoke no cigarettes. He could smoke some weed, but he can't smoke no cigarettes. Like, none. No. The answer is no. Captain America don't do it. Spider-Man don't do it. You don't do it. And I'm like, that's so childish. Did it work? Perfectly. Perfectly, because how many people deep in your heart were affected by all the characters I just named at a young age?
Right.
How many millions of you? Period. Right? So, a little bit of change. Synthetics are in everything. They're poisoning everything. It's up to you to fluoride filter and shower filter and water filters and food products and washing your food off and then keeping your place clean and doing the right thing. I mean, it's on you, man. And cleansing yourself is important because those heavy metals and toxins come out in those. When you do Aya, it like pulls all that out and then you just throw it up. And then later when you go to the bathroom or if you have an issue right during the experience, it just comes out. But then you're fresh and you're clear and you're clean. It's a wrap. It's done. And you ask, how is it to be cleaned out? It's like, well, I know people that get colon cleanses and stuff. Why would you do that and not just drink ayahuasca and pull it out? But it works. That's why they do it. All right, that was a weird way to kind of end the show talking about something like that.
Did Nick stop smoking?
Yes, I believe so.
That's awesome. Congrats, Nick.
Yes. And just like that, another one comes to the side of the light. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in and spending Saturday evening with us. Stick around. Beyond the Veil's up next. And this is FearLess. And Ra was just on before us. And then Paranormal Portal's on after Beyond the Veil. And then after that, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Dean. I love you so much. You know why? Because we're your protection from deception. Nicholas, the cigarette. Smoke the cigarette. No, I can't. I won't do it. Frank.